Good evening to the ones they already counted out. Good evening to the ones who had to smile with a shaking jaw, text back with steady hands while your chest was on fire, walk into rooms acting normal when your whole inner world was ripping itself open. Good evening to the ones they called unstable, too much, too emotional, too damaged, too intense, too hard to understand. Funny thing is, the same people who laughed when you looked like you were falling apart never once considered the most dangerous possibility. What if you weren't falling apart? What if you were shedding skin? What if the breakdown they mocked was the exact moment you stopped playing nice? That's what terrifies people. Not your pain, not your sadness, not your tears. People can handle your pain when it entertains them. They can handle your struggle when it makes them feel superior. They can handle your confusion when it gives them a little ego boost, a little cheap hit of false power. But the second your chaos turns intelligent, the second your suffering starts becoming strategic, the second your silence starts meaning something, now they get nervous. Because now they don't know what they're looking at. See, everybody loves the story where you crack. Everybody loves the version of you that collapses publicly, begs for understanding, explains yourself too much, tries to prove your worth to people who already made up their minds. That version is easy to control, easy to dismiss, easy to predict, easy to use. They know exactly how to deal with the person who keeps bleeding in front of them. Ignore them, gaslight them, push them a little further, watch them react, call them crazy, done, simple, but then something changed in you. Real quiet, real ugly, real deep. You stopped reacting the way they expected. You stopped explaining. You stopped trying to drag truth into rooms full of people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped begging people to see your heart. And that's when the game changed. Because a lot of people think power is loud. They think power is slamming doors, screaming, making speeches, posting cryptic captions, throwing your whole nervous system onto the internet for applause. But real power? Real power is when your face stays calm while your mind is rearranging the whole board. Real power is when they think they've got you cornered, and meanwhile you're measuring exits, memorizing patterns, learning exactly who folds under pressure, exactly who lies when they panic, exactly who switches sides when the lights get hot. That kind of pain is different. That kind of pain graduates. You ever notice how people get way too comfortable when they think you're weak? They get reckless. They talk too much. They reveal themselves. They underestimate your memory. They think because you're hurting, you're not paying attention. Biggest mistake people make. Pain doesn't always make you blind. Sometimes it gives you X-ray vision. Sometimes getting hurt strips away all the fake optimism, all the naive trust, all the soft little fantasies you had about who people are. Sometimes pain sits you down and forces your eyes open with both hands. And once you really see people, you can never unsee them. That's the part nobody warns you about. Once you see the fake concern, once you see the manipulative compliments, once you hear the tiny disrespect hidden under jokes, once you spot the smile that comes with envy, once you notice who goes missing when you need them and who appears only when you're useful, once you learn that some people don't love you, they love access to you, once you learn that some people never supported you, they just enjoyed front row seats to your confusion, something in you gets colder, not empty, sharper. And that sharpness, that's where the danger begins. Because now your breakdown isn't just a collapse, it's data. Every tear told you something. Every betrayal showed you something. Every night you sat there with your thoughts racing at 3 a.m. Every time your stomach dropped because something felt off. Every time you replayed a conversation and realized, hold on, that wasn't love, that was control. All of it was building something inside you, something ruthless, something disciplined, something patient. And patience is terrifying when it belongs to somebody who finally has nothing left to prove. That's you now. You're not desperate for their approval anymore. You're not starving for their validation anymore. You're not trying to convince blind people to appreciate the view. You learned the hard way that some people need your confusion to feel powerful. They need you doubting yourself. They need you emotional, scattered, impulsive, easy to bait. They need your heart open and unguarded so they can keep slipping their hands into it like it's public property. They need your softness without your boundaries. They need your loyalty without your standards. They need your forgiveness without your memory. But then you did the one thing they never planned for. You remembered. You remembered every weird vibe, every promise that expired the second it became inconvenient. Every time they switched up and tried to make you feel crazy for noticing. Every time they moved shady, then acted shocked when you pulled back. Every time they drained your energy, then accused you of being distant. Every time they used your pain to make you look unstable, why they played innocent. And now they're confused because you don't move like prey anymore. That's what this is really about. Not revenge in the cartoon version people like to talk about. Not some dramatic movie scene where you announce your transformation with a smirk and a monologue. Real life doesn't work like that. Real life is quieter, colder, more surgical. It looks like boundaries. It looks like delayed responses. It looks like silence where there used to be emotional access. It looks like watching people tell on themselves while you say almost nothing. It looks like not interrupting when liars get comfortable. It looks like no longer correcting people who insist on misunderstanding you. Let them. Let them build confidence inside a false story. Let them relax inside their own arrogance. Let them think your stillness means defeat. Some traps don't need ropes. Some traps are just time. Some traps are just space. Some traps are just letting people reveal exactly who they are without saving them from themselves. And that right there, that's a level of self-control most people never reach, because most people cannot sit with pain long enough to turn it into power. They need instant relief, instant reactions, instant noise, instant dopamine, instant chaos. That's why they crash into the same walls over and over and call it bad luck. They never slow down enough to understand the pattern. But you got dragged into the dark long enough to study it. You got left alone long enough to hear your own instincts clearly. You got betrayed enough times to stop confusing hope with wisdom. So now when someone tries you, you don't always explode. Sometimes you just take one step back and watch. And that watchfulness is heavy, because you already know what most people don't know. Almost everybody exposes themselves if you stop interrupting the process. The manipulator always overplays the role. The liar always adds too much detail. The fake one always tries too hard to look genuine. The user always gets irritated the second you become unavailable. The insecure one always throws little shots when your light gets too bright. The coward always disappears when truth enters the room. You don't even have to attack anymore. Half the time, you just remove your energy and people start unraveling on their own. That's power. That's real power. Not being feared because you're loud, being feared because you see, being feared because you don't need to explain what you noticed, being feared because when you finally detach, you don't do it halfway. See, people thought your breakdown meant you were done. No. Your breakdown was the death of your old operating system, that version of you who kept overgiving. Gone. That version of you who explained your pain to people committed to benefiting from it. Gone. That version of you who kept showing loyalty to people who treated your heart like a convenience store. Gone. And people hate that kind of death because they don't get to attend the funeral. One day they just realize the version of you they had access to is no longer on this earth. Same face, same voice, same body, different code, different standards, different appetite, different threshold, different rules. And suddenly the tricks stop working. Suddenly guilt doesn't work on you. Suddenly their distance feels like peace. Suddenly their opinions feel cheap. Suddenly their mixed signals don't make your heart sprint anymore. Suddenly you're not scared of losing people who only ever showed up. To manage your perception, that shift right there, that's where your life starts getting dangerous in the best possible way. Because once you stop being emotionally negotiable, your whole reality changes. You stop chasing closure from people who enjoyed leaving wounds open. You stop asking for honesty from people who built their whole personality on performance. You stop trying to save connections that only survive when you abandon yourself. You stop calling self-betrayal being understanding. And then something wild happens. Your energy comes back. Not all cute and soft. I'm talking predator energy, focused energy, locked-in energy. The kind of energy that wakes up and says, I'm done making myself smaller so shallow people can feel tall. The kind of energy that says, I know exactly what I survived, and I refuse to let that pain die meaningless. The kind of energy that builds in silence while everybody else is still gossiping based on an outdated version of you. That is why the ones who underestimated you start getting uneasy. Because the image they're using to judge you is expired. They're laughing at a person who no longer exists. They're talking slick about a version of you that already burned. They're still playing checkers with somebody who learned how to weaponize patience. And patience hits different when it's backed by discipline. You want to know why some of the strongest people move weird after they've been broken? Because they understand timing now. They know the first reaction is rarely the smartest one. They know emotion can be honest and still be strategically expensive. They know not every truth needs to be spoken immediately. They know some battles are won by giving the other person exactly enough space to expose their own weakness. They know that every clown eventually trips over their own shoes if the stage is left open long enough. So when they say, you changed, yeah, of course you changed. Fire changes things. Humiliation changes things. Disrespect changes things. Having to rebuild yourself in private while people kept expecting you to entertain them with your pain changes things. There is a kind of loneliness that doesn't just hurt you. It trains you. It teaches you how to hear what isn't being said. It teaches you how to tell the difference between somebody who misses you and somebody who misses controlling the version of you that had no boundaries. It teaches you that not everybody deserves a reaction just because they know how to provoke one. It teaches you that your attention is expensive, that your presence is expensive, that your softness is sacred, and once you know that, You stop handing yourself out like a free sample to people with dirty hands. Now let's get brutally honest. Part of what made your breakdown so powerful was this. It forced you to meet the side of yourself you used to fear. The side that can live without applause. The side that can sit alone. The side that can walk away while still loving deeply. The side that can feel rage and not waste it. The side that can turn heartbreak into structure. The side that says, I'm not here to be liked anymore. I'm here to be real. That version of you is hard to manipulate because it already lost the fantasy. It already watched the mask slip. It already saw what people become when you stop being useful, easy, emotional, available. And after you've seen that, you stop negotiating with nonsense. You stop dressing red flags in poetic language. You stop romanticizing your own disrespect. You stop saying, maybe I'm asking for too much, when all you wanted was basic decency. No, you were asking the wrong people. Big difference. And once you understand that, you stop shrinking your standards to keep access to low-quality energy. That's the calculated part. The world saw a mess. What they didn't see was your mind collecting evidence, your spirit adapting, your instincts getting louder, your tolerance getting lower, your loyalty getting more selective, your silence getting more expensive. The world saw emotion. What it didn't see was refinement. You were cutting dead weight, cutting fake hope, cutting old patterns, cutting the need to be understood by people who benefit from misunderstanding you. And every cut hurt. Of course it hurt. Growth that doesn't hurt is usually just branding. This was real. That was ugly. This was the kind of transformation that happens with swollen eyes, with unanswered questions, with rage in your throat, and no audience to clap for your resilience. This was the kind of transformation that makes you question your own mind before it remakes your whole life. And the reason it matters is because fake strength can't survive real pressure. Only the real stuff survives when nobody's watching. That's you, still here, still breathing, still building, still carrying things that would have folded weaker spirits in half. And don't get it twisted. Surviving didn't make you soft in the way they hoped. It made you selective. It made you precise. It made you less impressed by words and way more interested in patterns. Anybody can say, trust me. Anybody can say, I got you. Anybody can say, I'm different. Cute. Show me consistency. Show me action under pressure. Show me who you are when you don't get your way. Show me who you become when my boundaries inconvenience you. Show me who you are when I stop chasing, stop explaining, stop fixing the vibe for everybody. That's when truth shows up. And truth is all you move by now. That's why your energy feels heavier. That's why your eyes don't ask for permission the way they used to. That's why some people get uncomfortable around you even when you're calm. Because they can feel it. They can feel that you're not naive in the same way anymore. They can feel that the old access code expired. They can feel that the person they used to emotionally toy with is gone. And some of them are mad about it. Good. Let them be mad. People get furious when your healing interrupts the role they assigned you. When your boundaries ruin their convenience. When your silence denies them drama. When your growth exposes their stagnation. When your discipline makes their excuses look childish. When your self-respect kills the version of the story where they still had influence over you. That anger, let it sit with them. You have bigger things to do now. You have a life to build with the pieces they thought would stay broken. You have a mind to protect. You have standards to enforce. You have instincts to trust. You have dreams that require a version of you who no longer leaks energy into places that can't hold it. That's another thing nobody tells you. The real comeback isn't always flashy. Sometimes the comeback is emotional sobriety. Sometimes the comeback is not replying. Sometimes the comeback is going to sleep in peace. Sometimes the comeback is making money in silence. Sometimes the comeback is becoming unreachable to the chaos that once had your full attention. Sometimes the comeback is looking at something that used to destroy you and feeling nothing. That nothing is not emptiness. That nothing is freedom. That nothing is your nervous system finally refusing to worship what hurt it. And that freedom scares people who thought they had a permanent rental property in your mind. They never expected eviction. Too bad. You're not a place people get to wreck and revisit whenever they feel bored. You're not an emotional gas station for people who only show up empty. You're not a lesson people get to learn at your expense forever. At some point, the tuition gets expensive. At some point, access gets denied. At some point, mercy starts looking like distance. That's where you are now. And let me tell you something ugly and beautiful at the same time. The same pain that almost took you out also introduced you to your next level. Not because pain is romantic. Not because suffering is cute. Not because getting broken is noble. No. Because you made a choice inside the pain. That's what matters. You chose not to waste it. You chose not to let betrayal turn you into a clown begging at locked doors. You chose not to let heartbreak make you pathetic. You chose not to let disrespect define your worth. You chose to study what happened. You chose to tighten up. You chose to stop bleeding on people who handed you the knife. You chose to become the kind of person who can feel deeply without becoming easy to destroy. That is elite. That is rare. That is terrifying to anybody who still thinks your kindness means you can't become dangerous, because they still don't get it. You didn't become heartless. You became harder to fool. You didn't become evil. You became unavailable for nonsense. You didn't become cold for no reason. You became cold where heat was being exploited. There's a difference. And mature darkness understands the difference. Mature darkness doesn't throw tantrums. It doesn't need a crowd. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't post every move. It doesn't overshare the blueprint. It just moves, quietly, cleanly, with intention. That's why the people who wronged you start feeling weird even before you do anything. Because energy shifts before reality catches up. They can feel your detachment. They can feel your respect withdrawing. They can feel that your mind is no longer available for easy manipulation. They can feel that your pain no longer makes you predictable. And unpredictability? That's where fear lives, especially for people who built their confidence on your old patterns. So let them wonder. Let them read your silence and get nervous. Let them notice you stopped defending yourself. Let them realize they can't bait the same reactions out of you. Let them sit there trying to figure out whether you know. You know. That's the funny part. You know more than you say, more than they think, more than they're comfortable with. You know who switched when the room changed. You know who smiled and secretly kept score. You know who loved your presence but resented your potential. You know who only came around when you were bleeding and disappeared when you began to build. You know who confused your patience with stupidity. You know who thought your kindness meant lack of teeth And now they're about to learn the difference between a person being nice and a person choosing restraint. Those are not the same thing. Restraint is expensive. Restraint is a weapon. Restraint means I could, but I'm choosing the timing. Restraint means I see enough to act, but I'm wise enough not to move sloppy. Restraint means I refuse to give my enemy the satisfaction of watching me lose discipline. That's the level you're stepping into. Not reckless revenge, refined power, not chaos for attention, chaos under control, not emotional collapse, emotional command. That's why your future is bigger than the people who doubted you.